Hello and welcome back to Advanced Hwoarang Lessons. Today's lesson has to do with one of Hwoarang's 4 stances. You're seeing one right now, left foot forward. If I press 3+4, we go into RFF. If I press forward 3 from left foot forward, we go into left flamingo stance. And if I press 3+4 from here, or LFS 4 for that matter, we end up in right flamingo stance. But we'll be focusing more on left foot forward. I was told that if you master this stance, you will become invincible. So left foot forward is Hwoarang's default stance. And you're going to find yourself in this stance majority of the time because if you get hit or block a move in any of the other stances, so in RFF, if you block a move here, you're going to go back to left foot forward. If you get hit in either left flamingo or right flamingo, you're going to go back to left foot forward. So all things lead back to left foot forward. And just like that, it's also the central hub for Hwoarang because you have access to generic tools such as the jabs, DF1, down back 3. And you have moves that transition to stance like down 3-4, forward 2, and like FF3 and DF4. Oh, and the 1-2 strings into either left or right flamingo. I'll be highlighting a couple of moves as we go along in this lesson, but feel free to pause the screen to see all the moves that remain in LFF or transition to another stance. Now, generic tools such as the jab, DF1, and down back 3 are very important to Hwoarang because they act as the building block for safely transitioning to any of, the 3 stances, left flamingo, right flamingo, or RFF. So for taking example, a sequence like jab into DF1, this is a very simple situation where you use your +1 frame advantage to a decent mid-check to see if your opponent would challenge the frames with a button. Now, if they don't press here and the DF1+2 or DF1 gets blocked, that means you have an opportunity to transition to left flamingo, right foot forward, or RFS. So there are 2 ways you could do so. One is like you go for 1-2-4, right? So jab into 1-2-4. And if you don't want to do that, and you want to maximize the opponent's stand blocking, you go from jab into down 3-4. Now, if both these options get stopped, so let's say the 1-2-4 loses because they're down jabbing and down 3-4 loses because they blocked low or interrupted you with a different move, like an evasive move, then that means you have to remain more simple, right? So you go back to the jab DF1 or jab backdash and bait out their reaction. And then you use that information to rebuild it. Of course, that's doing it with a generic move, right? Can you do it with a move that transitions to stance? Yes, you can. Take forward 2 on block. This is a move that transitions Hwoarang to right foot forward and is -2 on block. So there's still frames to work with here. And you can do 4 things. Number 1, you can high crush with RFF back 4 for a minimum of 70 plus damage. You can armor through their challenge with backlash, assuming their move doesn't recover really fast. You can squeeze an RFF2 or a down jab, making it both a 12-frame high and a 12-frame special mid. Or 4, you can hold back and return back to neutral. And potentially even punish your opponent for pressing a button. Let's check if that's legit. So we're going to record it here. I'm going to challenge with a DF1+2 and ooh, it's legit, all right. You may want to try that out the next time you do forward 2 on block. So as you can see here, Hwoarang has the capability, even on block, to do offense, with a 12-frame jab or a 12-frame special mid or backlash. You can still technically do neutral by holding back. And then defense is like still backlash and RFF back 4. Now, there are other moves that deserve mention, such as like while standing 3 and DF4 for catching steps in LFF, JFSR, DF2, and back 3 for launching opponents in LFF, and then other moves like forward 1+2, counter hit back 4, and SS4 for getting counter hit launches in LFF. Again, for all those moves I just mentioned, you can mix it all with movement. So you got your back dash, you have your crouch dash, forward dashing by itself, and then you have like the RFF dance, and then you can even bring it in with the LFS cancel, and then put yourself in RFF, and then do like an SS4, etc, etc, etc. For as long as you're in a situation where you could press an LFF move. And RFF has access to some of these LFF moves. In short, a lot of the generic tools that Hwoarang has and moves that transition safely into any of the other stances. Because their frame data is relatively safe. You check it out here. You get -2 for forward 2, DF4, -8, while standing 3, -7, DF1+2, -3, while standing 4-4, -5. It allows you to just really just throw it out there and see how your opponent reacts. and then you use that information to rebuild it. So if you have a sequence like, as we were mentioning earlier, jab it to DF1 or DF1+2, you get to see it. They're like, oh, okay, they're stand blocking. They're willing to let me press a button after the jab. I'm going to take that down 3-4 non-stop. Or I'm going to check it safely before I confirm into the down 3-4. Because if any of these moves hit, right? Let's say the forward 2 hits, you go for the safest string that you can press. RFF DF4 into RFS1. And then once you have the information of that, you can run something else. Maybe you can go straight into JFSR if they're ducking, they're getting hit by RFF DF4, right? Because balancing transitioning and not transitioning in Flamingo is probably the most important part for left foot forward. Because you can't win without left foot forward since you're going to be in the stance like 95% of the time. You have to build the foundation right. Do I run up down 3-4? Or do I run up JFSR? Or do I wait it a bit, like see how the opponent's building up their offense before I check with a 1-2 and then work with the +7? Do I go small? Do I go big? You know, all those kind of things you have to really consider. You answer those questions as you play the set. And if you get it right, oh, for sure, you get that one launch or those multiple mix-ups, then you're going to have a really deadly Hwoarang in your arsenal. And I've been Frontier, and that has been the cheese for today. Again, as always, the next lesson will be somewhere on the other side of the screen for the next advanced Hwoarang lesson.